Imagine standing in the middle of the desert, the golden sands stretching endlessly, and in the distance, towering above everything else, are colossal monuments of stone, the pyramids. For thousands of years, they have stood, untouched by time, whispering secrets of a civilization that shaped the world. But the real question is, who built them and why? Behind these giants of history were not only kings and pharaohs, but also thousands of ordinary men and women whose sweat, hope, and struggles carved the pyramids into existence. This is their story. The story begins over 4,500 years ago in the age of the Old Kingdom of Egypt. The Nile River was the heart of life. Every year it flooded the lands, leaving behind rich black soil that fed an empire. The Egyptians believed their pharaohs were more than kings. They were living gods. When a pharaoh died, he didn't simply vanish. He traveled to the afterlife, a journey that required immense preparation. And so, the pyramid was born. Not just a tomb, but a ladder to eternity. At the center of this story stands Pharaoh Khufu, also known as Cheops. His ambition was unmatched. He dreamed of a structure so grand, so eternal, that it would outshine anything built before or after him. His vision gave rise to the Great Pyramid of Giza, a monument of nearly 2.3 million limestone blocks, each weighing several tons. But the pyramid wasn't built by Khufu alone. It was built by people, tens of thousands of workers, craftsmen and laborers, each with their own story. Among them was a young stonecutter named Hemiunu, whose family lived along the banks of the Nile. He was not a slave, as many myths suggest. He was a worker, paid in bread, beer, and shelter. Every day, before the sun rose, Hemiunu would join thousands of others at the royal construction site. The sound of chisels striking stone filled the air. The groaning of sledges, carrying heavy blocks across ramps, echoed across the desert. His hands were blistered, his back sore, but he carried within him a sense of pride. He was building something that would live forever. The workers lived in well-organized camps, not chains. They were fed, given medical care, and even honored for their contribution. Archaeologists have uncovered entire villages where pyramid workers lived, with bakeries that produced thousands of loaves a day, and breweries that kept the workers refreshed in the hot desert sun. These were not faceless laborers. They were fathers, sons, daughters, and mothers, bound together by a purpose far greater than themselves. Still, challenges loomed. The scorching heat, the heavy stones, the accidents that claimed lives. It was a constant struggle. Hemiunu once lost his closest friend in an accident when a block slipped from the ropes and crushed him. For days, grief consumed the workers' camp. Yet even in sorrow, they returned to their task, because they believed they were not just working for a king, but for the gods, for Egypt, and for eternity. As the decades passed, stone by stone, the pyramid rose higher, piercing the skies. It was an act of both devotion and defiance, a refusal to let time erase their existence. To the Egyptians, each block was more than rock. It was a prayer, a promise of eternal life. And when at last, the pyramid stood complete, its golden capstone glittering under the sun, Hemiunu and his people looked upon it with awe. They knew they had built not just a tomb, but a legacy. The Great Pyramid of Giza became one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. To this day, it remains the only one still standing. And though Khufu's name is remembered, so too are the echoes of the countless hands that shaped the stones. These were people whose names history never wrote down, but whose work still towers above the sands. After 4.5 millennia, the story of the pyramids is not just about kings or gods. It is about people, the dreamers, the builders, the mothers who cooked bread, the fathers who carved stone, the children who grew up watching a mountain of rock climb toward the heavens. It is about unity, about what humanity can achieve when thousands work together with one vision. Today, when we stand before the pyramids, we do not just see stone. We see the endurance of human spirit, the power of belief, and the message that greatness is never the work of one man alone, but of many souls joined together. So the next time you look at the pyramids, remember this. They are not just monuments of Egypt's past. They are monuments of humanity itself. Proof that dreams, no matter how impossible they seem, can be carved into reality by the strength of people who dare to believe. And that is the true story of the pyramids and of the people who made them. Would you like me to break this into a spoken YouTube script with natural pauses and hooks, like, but wait, here's the truth style, so it flows more like a documentary narration?